when you grew up, was your background Catholic?
Oh, definitely, very Catholic. My mom was a very charitable, outgoing, loving woman, takes care of everybody in the community that need help. Dad was a solid supporter. But I remember Mom she was very sickly, and she had so many miscarriages. But I can remember Mom going into her bedroom every afternoon for a little nap, and she'd have all these prayer cards, and she'd start reading the prayer cards, and then pretty soon she'd just floating. She was awake, but she wasn't there. Very mystical Mom. Did daily mass. Yeah.
Wow. So your mom had a very strong prayer life.
Definitely. But she was down to earth. Very down to earth lady. She knew everybody that needed help, and she did it without any fanfare. And yeah, my dad was too, but he was working to support everybody. Yeah.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Youngest. Yeah. That's when I found out about all her miscarriages, and I asked Mom what would have happened if they all lived. And she looked at me and said, "Tommy, you wouldn't be here." I can remember those words from 50, 65 years ago, more than that. So to be and never to have been was very evident as a young kid. But I never said, "Thanks, Mom, for having me." I should have said that.
That's a big deal.
Oh, it is. Life is a gift. Why do we mess it up so easy? It's a gift. Enjoy it.
Did you have brothers and sisters too?
Hmm?
How many living brothers and sisters?
I have a brother and a sister. They're older than I am.
Were they impacted by
No,
by your faith or your mom's faith?
Oh, they were, definitely. My brother's a very strong religious person, spiritual, down to earth. My sister, pretty much so, but she kind of got away from it. Yeah.
When you came to the point of making a decision, is there any point in your childhood or your teens that you had like a spiritual experience that God answered prayer, that you mentioned that God kept you through
I can answer that very easy. When I went out and started playing with Jesus, that's the reason I bring it up and I preach about it, because God is so available and apparent. We don't have to make a big deal about God. So God has been part of my awareness since I was a little kid. So I never had any big born-again experience. God's always just been there, in the background or in the foreground, but always there. And sometimes it was there to shame me, to give me guilt, other times to give me comfort. And God has just always been there. And when I was stationed in Greenland, I had a lot of experiences that I could have got killed. And God was always there, just nice and comfortable. And I had about 4 experiences in a boat and on the airplane I was flying where I thought that was the end of it. And I had enough time to say, well, if that's it, that's okay. I've been talking to you all my life, and I'm really curious about who you really are. And every time there was just a nice, warm feeling. But that's just feelings. But it calmed me down, so on a couple of those occasions, because I was calm, I could see the solution to the problem. And we pulled out of it. God has just always been there. I don't know how to get rid of him. And I wouldn't want to. So, I mean, there's just been no, I've listened to people having these big experiences, and I say, well, thank you, Lord. But I've never had it, because he's just always been there.
So his presence is very important. You
Yeah.
have that feeling. It's not something mystical or a Sunday experience for you. It's an everyday, every moment.
It's
Well,
just an
maybe not every
awareness.
moment,
Everybody
it's
can
just,
have it. There's nothing big deal about it. It's just, God's there. Talk to him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what you want. It's not a feeling, it's an awareness. It's much deeper than a feeling. Feelings I don't trust. They come and go. If you have a good feeling, enjoy it. If you got a bad feeling, endure it. But they come and go. This is much deeper than any feeling. It's just an awareness, and this is what from what I can understand, is what all the people who are seeking mysticism, that's what they're looking for. An awareness that that's someone that's not me, that lives within me. And we all want it. We have a hole in our life without it. So we try to find it in some other ways. And we do, partially. No, that's what I think people are searching for, just that common, ordinary awareness of God's presence, which means love and forgiveness and laughter. I think God's laughing at us most of the time. Yeah, how can you have so much and screw it up?
oh, really. When you decided to go into the field of being a spiritual leader, was there any experience? Did you always know that you were going to be in a ministry role, or
No.
is there something that led up to that, a series of events, or did you have a choice to make between a secular career and a spiritual
When I
career?
was in the 8th grade, this priest came and talked about the religious order that I belong to now, and I was not interested in being a priest, absolutely not. But he started talking about our missions in the Arctic with the Eskimos, and I didn't even know what they were, but all my antennas went straight up, and I focused on that for the next 15 years. So I went to the seminary with the idea of being a missionary to the Arctic. The part of the order that I hooked up with had missions in Japan, Brazil, and the Philippines. So I reconciled myself that I did have a vocation to the priesthood, whatever that would lead to, that was okay. Thy will be done, right? And then the year I was ordained, we picked up a mission in Greenland. I was sent there. So did I ever make a decision to be a spiritual leader? No, I just wanted to be a priest and go and do what God wanted. And I'd never been a big, powerful leader. I'd just been there. Like I am here. I'm just here.
Yes, and your being here is very present in the moment with people is, I believe, what you're known for. Your presence, just being there and being
the old
that
guy
comfort
walking around. That's fine.
No, being there when people need you. You have a way of comfort. Your presence gives people comfort and encouragement from different people. I've heard, things you say. You seem to have the right word God gives you at the right moment. People sometimes come back.
Well, if it is, it's a God thing. I'm not a deep thinker. No, I would say if you wanted to touch on my spirituality, Mama told me to go play with Jesus. And we've been doing that. One of the likenesses, have you ever had, what's this guy? Calvin Hobbes. Remember him?
Cartoon.
Well, Calvin talks to Hobbes. Hobbes talks to Calvin. Tells Calvin what he needs to know. That's sort of like playing with Jesus. Except Jesus is real. And he doesn't talk very loud. But you get the urge, the feeling. Yeah. It's the same thing. Well, it's not the same, but it's close to it. It's descriptive. Yeah. But I've never been a big preacher or organizer or administrator, televangelist or anything like that. I've just been a very simple priest. And I've had a lot of fun being it. Lots of fun. Like here. I have more fun than most people at my age. More fun than most people, period.
What, so having fun is important to you?
It's a natural relationship to my reality. You know, climbed mountains, skied, backcountry skiing. In Greenland, I was on a boat, hunting, fishing, flying an airplane. But it was challenging. It was very challenging. I've never been so challenged in my life. But I had fun doing it. When I was in the military, I had fun wherever I went, even in Vietnam. Great guys, wonderful people. And if you notice when I wrote my article, I had people in it. And that is my life too. I've always had people. And they inspired me, helped me be who I am, and have fun.
Tell me more about Colonel Mack.
Oh my God, that guy. He was a lieutenant colonel and in command of this cavalry squadron. And when he took it over, they really started using his expertise, and we really went after the enemy. We went after them. So we were in constant, every third day we had a firefight where somebody was getting killed or wounded. And I wasn't in all of them. I was in a few. But Mac was always there. And the soldiers knew that if the medevac refused to come in because it was too hot, the firefight was too hot, Mac would come in. In fact, he had 3 helicopters shot out from under him coming in. Nobody got killed, but the pilots vied with each other to be his pilot. That's the charisma he had. And he would land, and he was there at every firefight in his helicopter, and if it was really got screwed up, he would land and help get it back together. And when we were taking a rest, he would land sometimes and walk around and talk to the GIs. He knew a lot of them by name. They all respected him. And his captains and lieutenants that worked for him were never threatened by his presence. They always looked, because he was a leader. But what really hit me was one day after this firefight, we went back out because we had lost a couple of guys. And we went back out to pick up their bodies. Mac picked the kid up from the shoulders, and we put him in the body bag. He touched his dead. There's not many leaders that do that. They were not numbers to him. And then at the evac hospitals, he would go and with his sergeant major, and they would visit the sick being evac'd out, and he would thank this young kid. They're all 19 and 20 years old. He would thank him for his service and apologize that he got hurt following his orders. I have never met a human being like that. I met them, 20, 25 years later. He married, and his wife didn't know about this part of his life. So I told him, and she said, no, he still wakes up screaming at night, not out of fear, but a responsibility. His boys got killed, and he had over 100% dead and casualties. This wasn't just a couple here and there. They were a couple here and there every third day. And he did it. But it tore on him. You know what he did when he retired? He was in Jackson, Mississippi, and he got hooked up with this nun who was managing 2 houses to help. There was respite care for HIV young men. They were all dying. She helped them die. He hooked up with her and supported those 2 houses. Isn't that amazing?
When you say he hooked, did he marry her?
Oh, no.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Oh, no,
okay,
no,
but
no.
he hooked. He took care of the 2 houses.
He joined her work, and they helped these young men die.
Oh, that. Yes.
So you find more fabulous people than that?
No, because that is something that is hard for many people to deal with. That's
It's hard.
a hard subject.
You get to love these young men, and then they die on you, but they die with peace. You can't give a greater gift in life than help a person die. To help them die well, that is what the most powerful gift we can give to anybody. Not sit there and say, have faith and die.
In one of the articles that has been done so far in the past, it said that there was a comment about that. When you say helping a person die well, number one, what do you say? Do you consider important in helping a person to prepare for death and to make that passing?
To get that need that we have, that vacuum that we have, that only God can fill. To sit there and just let that person know that God loves them. And they relax. That's the sacrament of the sick that we give. It's just amazing. I gave it to a guy 2 weeks ago, and he hadn't been in anything to do with God for I don't know how long. But as soon as we mentioned it, he just got this peace in his eyes, and he opened up, and I gave him communion and confession, and he knew God was present, and then he went into sort of a coma after that. That is so beautiful. And he didn't say a word, but he knew. And I've stood beside many people, and the only thing I said was, God loves you. God is here. God is here. And they relaxed. That's helping them die well.
Thank you.
Oh, I had a good one, though. It was at Fort Carson. I'd been out in the field for about a month, and I was dirty. And suddenly they called me up and said, you got to get to the hospital real quick. I said, for what? I don't know. You got to go. And the hospital wasn't part of my obligation at that post. So I go up there, and I walk in, and I'm all dirty, and I've got my helmet and all my gear on. And I walk in, and here's this family fighting over whose fault Dad was dying, screaming at each other. And I walked in, and the nurse said, and I don't know how I got mixed up into this, but I looked at that, my best bedside manner, I said, shut up, help your dad die. And they all looked at each other and said, that's a good idea. And they just changed, and they all started being taken care of Dad. So we talked there, but he didn't die. Oh, that's cute.
He didn't die.
No, but they came to, let's help Dad die. It's a wonderful thing to do. Help somebody die. Don't fight it. It was time. Help him do it well. We're all going to die. So let's do it good. Yeah. Well, that's been something that's happened to me quite often. Something like that. Where we help people die. And it's a gift. Christians should do that. We believe there is life after death. The life is God. We're absorbed into whatever God is. I'll be like God is, whatever that is. I'll know him as he knows me, whatever that is. Kind of curious, huh? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with dying. It's how we do it.
Would you say that people who learn how to live well learn how to die well?
Oh, yeah. I think, I was taught this and I believe it. If you accept your own death, you can live your own life better. But if you're afraid of death, your life will be rather spasmodic, jumpy, I think. No, death's okay. I used to give a little class to new chaplains because I experienced in Vietnam some chaplains couldn't deal with death, especially on mass casualty types. They'd freak out. So and I gave a talk, oh this was cute, at Fort Hood. I gave a talk to 82 chaplains and their assistants on what a chaplain does in combat, and that's deal with death and to help people survive death. Because if your two buddies got killed and you didn't, you feel kind of guilty. Shouldn't, but that's all right. So one of the things I instructed the chaplains, what do you think about death? And what do you think about your death? If you can accept that, you can help other people die. If you can't, you're going to have a problem.
That's a really good point. I can see truth in that. I mean, that's a great point.
It's life.
Yeah,
It's life.
I mean, that's got to be very
no big deal.
A very central truth. I mean, if we can face our own mortality, then we can help others face theirs. Let me ask you one other question related to that. You made a comment about people feeling guilty in the battlefield, or maybe even in peacetime, where somebody else dies and it should have been them.
Oh,
Why
you hear
did
that.
I get left behind?
You hear that all the time.
How do you address that kind of question?
How do I address that?
Yeah, what would you say to somebody?
Say, hey, it's not your time. It was his. Why did the bullet miss you and hit him? That's the way life is. You got it, live it. Don't waste it. It's a gift. Life is always a gift. If you have that feeling, it's just a feeling. Don't play with it. Put it aside. Get busy and do something worthwhile. And go tell your wife, your lover, and your kids you can't live without them. A lot of fantastic scenery.